So in today's class, we are going to talk about security controls. What is security controls and why we use them in Salesforce? Okay, I'm muting them. Now I'm logging into the Salesforce application. Okay, I'm clicking on. So by default, when you log in, you're on setup module. So in the last class, we discussed about company profile. Till here, we discussed about that. Okay. Now we are going to discuss about security controls. This is one of the important topic where you're going to control the record access, field level security, and password policies. Okay, field accessibility means field level security only. Okay, and organization wide record level of settings. Okay, the global settings of each and every object is also controllable here. I will talk and I'll show the scenarios to you. What will happen if you are selecting the changing the options in these modules? Okay, and session settings when you are accessing the Salesforce application with username and password, but till what time the session is active, like everything you can control here. You can put some time so that after some time, if you are not using Salesforce system, it automatically expires after the time. Okay, and login flows, network access, which networks you are going to provide access to this instance, activations. For suppose, yeah, I will speak one by one. Okay, let's go from security settings. These are the topics we are going to cover in today's class. What is security settings? So these are called organization-wide settings. Okay, organization-wide sharing settings. For suppose, why we use this? So there are many objects in your system, but if your business gave some requirement saying, hey, that my leads object should be private. So if there is a competition between the sales guys, and if it's confidential data, okay, I generally make if the leads is confidential sometimes. So if sales engineers are generating the leads on their own and they are connecting with their contacts, okay, then if your company need that type of data model where leads is confidential, then I can make the lead data access as, okay, public, sorry, private only. How to do that? By clicking on edit, each and every object I can set this organization wide settings. There are four options generally. One is private, the another is public read only, public read write, public read write transfer. What is private? Private, if you are selecting this, the records created by you are only shared to you. The records created by other people cannot be shared to you. You cannot even see the records created by other people also. Okay, you can't even modify, so you can't even access it. Okay, the next level of security is public read only. You can access all records, but you can only modify your own records. That's called public read only. You can only view, you cannot modify. Public read write, you can modify all records in the system and you can view all the systems also, obviously. The fourth and final option is only available to some objects, that is like lead, account, contacts, like this. Okay, that is public read write transfer. You can transfer the ownership of that particular record to some other person. For suppose by mistake some lead from different territory is requesting some demos from my side. If I don't belong to the territory, I can transfer that lead to my friend in the territory by using public read write transfer settings on that object, because it's a global settings. Once you have configured that, that's it. It's applied for all the people in the system. If there are, if you want to make the lead as private, just keep this private, so that if there are 5,000 salespeople inside your system, 5,000 people have 100 object, means have created 100 records in lead object. Okay, then actually 5 lakh records are there in the system, but each and every user who is accessing the system will be seeing only that 100 records only. But this is the basic level of record sharing. But if you have view all, modify all permissions, see when I'm showing the profile, after each and every object you see view all, modify all permission. So if it is in private sharing model, the lead object is in private sharing model. If I'm giving view all, modify all to if I'm giving, first of all, there are two options. If I'm giving the view all permission to that profile user, then that guy will be having access to all the leads in the system. If I'm giving along with view all, if I'm giving modify all also, that guy will be having access to all the all the leads in the system only on that object, which on whichever object you give that view all modify all permission at the profile level. For the profile users, they can see all the records of that object, and they can even modify the modify all permissions. Okay, means the permissions are applying only to that profile users, not to other people. So this is the basic level settings to control the data. For suppose, if you want to make the accounts available to all the people, generally there are account. Okay, there are many accounts in the system. Give me a second. Yeah, sorry for interruption. Okay, yeah, where I'm so yeah. So uh, for suppose my customer says, hey, I need to make my account object public, because public read only. Okay, the reason why I have to give these settings is, okay, for suppose if I'm a sales guy, if I'm creating an account called Avon. Okay, so I don't know if that is a private sharing model on the account object, the other people cannot see the Avon account. So what they will do, they will also get one more new account who is working from different location on the same customer. That's a bad practice, right? That is the reason in this case we are going to use account as public object, so that every person can access the all the account records, so that they don't create duplicate customers in the system. If there is already an Avon customer in the system, they are going to use that, and they are going to attach a lead or case or attach to that one account only. Okay, there are some best practices based on the type of customer, based on their requirement. You have to pick down whether the organization wide settings for the particular object is public read only, or private, or public read write, or public read write transfer. These are the four options. But the same options, the public read write transfer option is not available for the custom objects. So for suppose this is a balance history, is a custom object. See why I'm seeing only three options here. I said this option is only available only to few objects like leads. Okay, and okay, leads and opportunities. No, yeah, and cases also. These are the two objects you generally find this public data transfer. And for the child objects like contact, because it's a child object of account, there is one other option called control by parent. That's the setting. For suppose the meaning of this is, if the parent object of this means contact, that is account, is publicly droid, then automatically the contact will become publicly droid. It depends on the parent object. Okay, That's one other option. Okay, these are the all the options you can see here. And see, they at the end of each and every object, see there's only one drop down box for each and every object. See, because it applies for the complete object for all the users in the system. The option what you're selecting, this is the very crucial part. When you are doing this, make sure you are taking the business requirements and you are doing it. For suppose, if your business says, hey, my candidate information should be private, each and every sales rep will be having their own candidates, they don't share to other people, then you have to make it as private. Simply select this and click on private. In this case, what happens is, and again I am using grant access using role hierarchies. If I am giving simply this option, so anyway you leave this out. If I am giving private, each and every person can see only their records. If I'm checking this option, this is the additional option. Okay, this is useful for opening up the sharing. This is useful for giving extra records access based on role hierarchies. The reason why this helps is the managers can see the subordinate records if the checkbox is checked next to that object. So if I am made candidate object as private, now if I'm creating 10 records, I can see only 10 records. But if I'm selecting this option, if I'm the manager of four other people, that is Akshay, Ravi, Faizan, and Ashish, okay, if these people are creating some X number of records on candidate object, that is 20, 30, 20, 30, total there are around 100 records from my child, from my subordinates, from my people who are reporting me, and there are 20 records which I created. Now, the total number of records which I see now here in the system is 120 records. 20, 30, 20, 30 from my four people who are working under me, and the 20 records which I own, which I created on my own, everything will be shown in my tab, that is candidates tab. But I don't see the other people's information. But again, if my subordinates is having some more subordinates under him, again their data also will be shown to me. Managers can see their data, their child managers can see their subordinates data with role hierarchies. Right? That's what I said when we were discussing about roles. This is useful for opening up the sharing in terms of private sharing model. Coming down to public read write or public read only, what happens? Each and every person have access to the records. There is no need to share specially with role hierarchies, right? If I am giving public read write access on account object, what happens? Even though I am not giving this or not, all the records are shared obviously to your managers also, or to anyone, even the subordinate at the bottom of the company. The basic sales guy also, sales rep also can see all the records in the system. If there is public read write, the role hierarchy will means granting special access using role hierarchies will specially work in private sharing model. Got it? Yeah. So now you have understand the four options. The options you have to remember is, means again I have five: private, where no one can see your records except your managers. Again, only if this is checked. Third is public read only. If you are making this, everyone can see the data in your data in the system. All the data in your system can be viewed by all the people, but it's only read only. They cannot modify it. Only the owners who created the records can only modify that. What is public read write? All the people who have means all the objects who have public read write can see all the data access in the system to all the people. They are visible to all the people in the system, and again they can even modify that also. Everyone can modify the record, but only the owners have special permissions. That is, they can manually share, they can edit it. Even other people also can edit it, but I can even track that who modified that record and everything. There's no issues. If someone is modifying, I can even track that at the last modified by and date when they have modified it, right? And last and final thing is public read write transfer. When we use public read write, for suppose if I'm creating an account for the first time, the owner is one guy, I am the owner. After 1 month, Akshay got to know that there is some more important information from the account, their stock information, their account revenue information, all this stuff. In this case, if I'm giving public read-only option, he cannot modify it. He have to tell me that, hey, you are the account owner of this and you have to update this information. But if I'm giving public read-write, yes, he can do that simply by opening that record, right? That's it, guys. The options is all same for all the other people, and the transfer only option is only available for two objects, that is important objects like leads and cases, and control by parent is only available for the child objects in the system, which generally gives the same permission as that of their parent. Okay, so organization wide settings is the default and basic level settings which is applied to all your system objects. You can set it object wise in this page. There's only one page, very simple option, hits here. Okay, clicking on save. Field level accessibility. So you have this concept, you know about this concept from the profiles. Okay, but Salesforce is simplifying. If you go to profile, what happens? It shows all the options available for that profile for all the objects. Okay, but what happens here is, if I want to control one field to all the profiles, I can do it from here. For suppose I'm going to account, this is object, I'm picking it up, so I can go by profiles, I can go by fields also. I'm going by fields, I'm going by profiles, I'm going by record types. These are three options I have it. For suppose if I want to go by fields, here now I want to control all the settings of number of contacts is a field. If I want to control the number of contacts, visibility in all the other systems, all the other users also, I can do that. See, when I selected this field on the account object, now you are controlling, now you have ability to control field visibility, field permissions on all the profiles, on all the system people. See, it shows all the profiles here, and it's saying, hey, for all the profiles it's editable. Editable means it's visible and it's even modifiable. If it is, if I'm selecting this, any of this, see, I have two options. Editable means this is checked and this is not checked. If it is read only, if I am selecting this, that will become read only. Now this profile user, number of contacts fields for this profile, that is clone of custom admin profile, will now only see the information, he cannot modify the information. So this is the field level security of that field by field wise, because see what it is, I clicked on field level security, I clicked on account object, and I clicked on number of contacts fields. So I'm trying to control the field level security based on the fields, right? See, I have the field level security here, I have the page layout options here. See, remove or change the editability of number of records field on the small account page layout, choose a different page layout to modify. And here I have one more option. Okay, because why I'm seeing only this layout, because this guy is using this layout and this is the small account layout. See, inside the layout also I can control whether it's visible. If I'm unchecking this, this field will be automatically removed from the page layout. So you know how you can add fields, how you can show read only, read write, visible properties on the object. First of all, the basic level thing is at field level security, visibility and readability is controllable there. And if it is completely given as full access, that is visible and readable and editable, then you can also control the things at page layout also. If I am making read only, again still it will become, this is additional layer of security controls. You can also control the visibility, read only option and required option at the page layout. You already know that there are simple checkboxes, if you remember. The visibility is controlled by dragging and dropping the field on the page layout. If I am dragging and dropping from the fields to this, means you are checking the visibility option. And when you are clicking on the Pro settings button on the field on the page layout, they show two options. One is required or read only. Required means read only means you are making that field as uh, freezing field where you cannot edit the field, where you cannot put down the value into that. And required option means it automatically shows the red color symbol before that field, means for saving the record you have to put down the value into it, otherwise your page layout won't allow to save the record. These type of options can be controllable to all the fields in all the from all the objects. Okay, clicking on cancel. So this field of security you really know, but here I can go by fields. Here I can go by profiles also. By clicking on profiles, view by profiles. Now select a profile. Now I can change the settings of all the people for this profile. This is what I am doing in the profile level. See, for this profile, these are different field access. See, it shows all the fields now. Earlier when I'm selecting a field, it shows all the profiles here. But now I have selected one profile, but it shows all the fields. Now for this profile, I'm trying to control all the field settings on the account object. See, hidden. So this field is hidden for all the profiles. This field is required for all the page layouts, record types. This field is editable and this is hidden. So you can see the option here. I will talk about hidden. Hidden means it's not shown at all on the page. Required means it's shown on the page and it's required. You have to enter the data. It's editable field. Third thing is editable. It's visible on the screen and you have to enter some value. It's not required. Okay. And what else hidden is, yeah, you don't see that field. Unfound read only field. It's visible on the field, but it's read only. You cannot enter the value into that field. These are the different options, and you are seeing this by record types. These are record types. See, master record type, big data, big account record type, and these are the appropriate fields, permissions which are linked here. For big account record type, number of days since last visit is hidden. See, for what happens here, especially for medium accounts, the account number field is hidden, but it's available for all the other four record types. Master record type it's available, big account it's available, personal account it's available, small account it's available, but it's not available for the medium account. That's how you can control the field level security, okay, for all the fields, by profiles also. If you want to change only to one profile, select the by profiles. If you want to select for one field to all the profiles, use by fields. And if you want to do by record types, just go by record types. Select this. You can select any of the record type on the account object so that you can control for all the profiles and all the, see, I'm selecting this. Now you can see the fields and profiles on a, see, the profiles are on the top, fields on the right side. So this field for this profile is this. This field for this profile is this. Editable. That's how you can control. Let's go to password policies now. So yeah, the field accessibility options is also available at profile level. These are also available when you are creating the fields. But for suppose if you have done mistake while creating the fields, then you can come here and you can do that in security controls also. That's the second option. Okay, you can even control at the profile level also, right? And even you can go back to your field and you can even change it for field to all the profiles and to all the users also. That you can do it. But this is the very quicker way to do the changes very quickly for all the fields, for all the profiles at once page, and for all the objects also. And password policies, you can see the similar password policies at the profile level also when we are talking about profiles. Okay, when we discussed in profiles topic. So the password policy says, hey, user password should automatically expire after 90 days. That's one thing, first level password policy. Second thing is you have option to change. You can say never expires, means the password never expires for your organization people. The default is 90 days for all the organizations. Enforce password history. You are going to remember the last three passwords, and whenever some user is entering the last three passwords, he's trying to use it again, it shows some error saying, hey, this is already used by you, and it's in the last three passwords. You can't use the last three passwords. You can see no passwords remembered, means you can even keep the same password again and again also, no problem. But most enterprises go with 3 or 6 or 5. It depends. Okay. Password complexity, no restriction. You can give any password. Okay. There's no rule saying only give one special, at least one special character, at least one symbol, at least one number, one caps letter, like this. There are some restrictions, right? You can see these options here. Must mix alpha numbers and alpha numeric characters, means at least you should put like Venkat 1 2 3 like that. If you are not giving numbers, it won't accept it. Okay. And must mix alpha numeric and special characters also, like at the rate symbol, exclamation mark, the special symbols you can introduce it. Must mix numbers, uppercase and lowercase characters also, and with special characters is the last option. And uh, password question contains password question requirements contains password. Some people they create some hint. Okay. So can your password, sometimes what they will do, right, in the security question you are going to give the password. So if you say can't contain password, yeah, when you are trying to give your answer, if you're using, so what's your other median's name, if that is the security question, if you are giving like your password only is the answer, then it won't allow. Or else if you're using the same question answer name in your password, it won't allow. Maximum number of login attempts, no limit. If it is 3, it will be logged. Okay. So lockout period is again mentioned here. Sometimes some organizations don't lock out forever. If they're attempting wrong attempts for 3 to 4 times, they're going to give forever option. Means, so again this guy has to contact the administrator to unlock the user. Okay. At a number of attempt, no, here is the no limit. Here is the limits thing, 3, 5, 10, no limit. Most secure applications will give 3. Okay. Most unsecure, means generic application will give 10 attempts. And if I'm giving no limit, yeah, it's your, again, your business requirement. They can enter a number of times wrong passwords, and I think 10 is fine. And I can even give the lockout period as 60 minutes, so that after 1 hour he can try again one more time, 10 more times. Okay. Again it will be logged after 10 more times. Obscure secure answer for password research. So sometimes do you want to show the security answer for resetting password, or else you want system admin only to reset it. Some organizations don't allow you to reset your password directly from your page, because if the system is logged, you have to contact system administrator to asking for resetting the password. Now system admin will go back and click on reset password on your profile and so on your user account. Then only you'll get the new password to your system. Required a minimum 1 day password lifetime, at least 1 day for changing the password. And sometimes you can show the information on custom page about the message and link about some issue what you are trying to face, what the user is trying to face on the screen. Okay. I can pass that message and help link here. For issues regarding password, you can contact this at this Salesforce email. So this administrator email, like that I can give some information on the help link. And I can also use some alternate home page for API only user settings. Okay. Session settings will tell you how your session, what's the session's life, and when to disable your session. Okay, what's the session timeout will tells you the by what time you have to disable the session. Means after 2 hours you are going to log out automatically from the system if system is not used by the user for 2 hours. Disable session timeout warning pop-up. Sometimes you will get a warning saying, hey, your session is getting expired, do you want to continue or not? If you click on OK, then you are automatically doing some action that makes you to live again for 2 more hours in the same session. That one I can do. Disable, if I click on this, that won't show up. Okay, forced logout on session timeout. Sometimes after 2 hours it won't inform you. It automatically logouts to you, logout from your application automatically after 2 hours. Force logout. Okay. Session settings, yes. Log sessions to the IP address from which they are originated. What happens here if we are opening the session in my home? Okay. Now the session started. Again, you go back to the Starbucks location. Okay, and you're trying to refresh the page, or you're trying to click on some button. If I'm giving log sessions to the IP address only, then it won't work when you're trying to open Starbucks location after 30 minutes or 1 hour. But if I'm unchecking this, then I can open it. When I am locking the sessions to the IP address, whenever you're changing the IP address, the session is automatically expired. Okay, these are the very basic options which are simply useful to check and check. Okay, so whether you need enable SMS based identification for resetting the means for passing the 5-digit passcode when you're trying to log in from the new IP address, that information is here, enabling that. Okay, enabling catching and autocomplete on a login page. Okay, storing information of the users on this login page. Okay, force login or login as user. When you're trying to log in as another user, you will be automatically asked you to log in again. If I'm selecting this, okay, login as user, you already tried it, right? I showed you I am logging in as Anita in that cases. Okay, so these are some security levels which I'm selected uh, for this session settings. Okay, that's it, the basic things. Okay, these are the default settings. You have option to control only, this is the only value you generally control. If you want to make this application expired only 15 minutes session, yes, you can do it. If the user is not using system for 15 minutes, it will automatically expire. All the secure and banking applications will use this type of means this session timeout value, and the general basic applications will use 2 hours to 4 hours or 8 hours. The CRM generic CRM systems. Okay, most people will use 2 hours as the default value, and the login flows is the new thing. This is like you can design the flows. How when you log in, what is the thing you have to show? It's a new concept. We'll be exploring this later. Okay, so this is the login flow is completely built with the flow diagrammer. This is for building some um, flowchart type of application where you're going to show when you're clicking on this button what to show. If you're clicking on another button, what to show, that type of thing. Okay, you can even build this with a flow diagrammer. There's offline tool for that, for connecting this. Okay, let's explore this later. Okay, network access to your system. So I can give some trusted IP ranges. Okay, for your organization. Okay, saying, hey, you can trust this IP addresses when people are logging from this IP range. Okay, so the people who are trying to log in with this IP range will not. So for these people, they won't ask any 5-digit security code sent to their email. It won't at all open. It directly logins to the application. Okay, for people who are not in this IP range, if the IP address is new, what it says is, hey, we have sent some 5-digit code to your email, please enter
Yeah,
that
let's answer the question.
in
Sorry.
your please enter that in our system, please enter that in the login page. But that what it show only for the first time.
Could you hear me?
I can click on new and I can create some IP range. It can create start and ending IP range. How it works is 120 dot dot the IP range will be like this, okay, and you can put like
Can you hear me?
120. Now this is the IP range, okay, 89 to 120 is IP range. It's a big IP range, okay, like this, and you click on save. Now this will become the trusted IP range for your company. I want to do that. What are activations? First, suppose your organization is accessible from many locations. Okay, see what are activations? Whenever my users in the system is trying to log in from different IP addresses, for the first time they need to activate. The IP address will automatically activate now. For suppose if I'm an employee of some organization, if I'm working from um, uh, if I'm working from my home sometimes, whenever I log in for the first time, it asks for the 5-digit code. That time when I gave it properly, the login will be automatically activated. So now these are all the activated logins for my user, for my account, and these are all the activated client browsers for my organization. So hence, Anita, these are all the people they are activating from this browser. Now when they are trying to log in from this browser, they don't need to enter the 5-digit code, but when they are trying to log in from different browser, yes, you have to again enter the 5-digit passcode. This is the IP range activations, this is the browser activations, and their OS activations, system activations, client browsers and systems. For suppose if I want to clear all this stuff, I can do it by clicking on this remove. Now now if this person is trying to log in again from this IP address, it asks again the 5-digit code sent to his email. If I am not removed it, he can log in directly without any 5-digit code from this login IP, because this is called trusted IP, because this guy is already logged in some time back from the same IP address. There's no need to verify again and again. Okay, these are the activated IP addresses and the client systems. And session management, that's a topic. So these are all the active sessions in the current system. Okay, this is the parent session ID. This is the current session ID from different uh, these are current active sessions. So I'm trying to use this thing for content, session type, content UI, different things. See, these are all the sessions which are created today, okay, which are currently active. If I click on this and if I click on remove, what happens? I will be logged automatically from the system. Let's do that. See, okay, it's refreshing and it's I'm automatically logged out of the system. Got it? Because I have cleared the session. If I am clearing the some session, automatically logs out of the system automatically. Hey, 1 second. Can you speak again? Yeah, I have a question. Yeah, so the IP ranges will be given by your system administrator of the company, the network engineer. Okay, so your company will be having IP address. So for suppose, what big enterprise, if there are 5,000 employees like that, they buy big range of IP addresses for all their systems. Okay, so now that IP range you can add it in your system so that all the people can use without So you're making this as a trusted IP range for this organization. Okay, so that works. You don't need to worry about this. Okay, network engineer will provide that to you.
Okay.
Yeah, and coming back to, I logged in again because what happened is I cleared the currently active session. Whenever you clear the session, so for suppose if you found some guys, some people are logged in the application, you're trying to deploy. So the real scenario when you do this is, for suppose you have sent an email saying, hey, that we are doing some updates on this Saturday morning 10 p.m. You asked not to use the system for 1 hour, all the users, but some people have already logged in the system and they are using it. What I can do is I can automatically log out all the sessions by clicking on this session management. By clicking on this, so now I click on log session management, I can see only the, again, today's sessions. One is for UI content, Salesforce session type for UI. The parent session is same. This is the parent session. These are all the sub sessions for content, UI temp UI friender and temp content exchange. Okay, and the source IP address is again coming. This is my IP address. Okay, and login access policies. Let's go. If I'm clearing again, it will obviously log out from the system again. Okay, now I'm clicking on login access policies. So suppose if you want to give some permission of login access permissions, grant login access permissions to other users out of your organization, then this is the place where you are controlling it. Control the support organization you user want to get access to. So what I can do is I can disable this. So what happened here is I'm not allowing to share, I'm not allowing my users to share their grant access permissions to the Salesforce support, because that's the job of me. I'm a system administrator of this company. If they have any issue, they'll be sharing to me. Then I will decide whether to share to the Salesforce support or not. If I cannot fix the issue, I'm going to share this to the Salesforce support. Otherwise, I don't share to the Salesforce support. That's the reason I'm blocking all the users. They cannot share the support, use Salesforce support to share their grant access permissions. Grant access permissions will be available on the setting on the My Settings tab. After person, in the next to the person settings, there is a grant access permissions. That is useful to give access to your system administrator, your Salesforce support persons, and even Evernote support and Synapse support is the third party applications. But here I have disabled that access for giving support by the general users to directly to the these three organizations. They can only share grant access permissions only to me, that is system administrator. And certificate and key management, this is useful when you are trying to do integrations with third party applications, where they need some certificate to send some information on HTTPS request. Okay, when you're trying to call, some people need certificates to have all the security applications go with this. In that case, you have to create some secure self signed certificate. Some people will buy certificates from the go to some other third party sites, and they are going to import this here. Import from Keystore. You can export the certification created here. All this stuff you can do it. So, and again, you can attach the certificates in your coding also. There is some methods for that, for certification methods for adding and sending it in your request automatically. And single sign-on settings, why we use this is one of the important topic, but we don't have access to do that. Session settings, single sign-on settings is useful to integrate your Salesforce login to a centralized open IDs. Okay, you can use, there's open ID and Oracle identity management. There are other tools for maintaining okay, their authentication means username and password of all the systems. Whenever you are changing the password in one system, it automatically changes password in all the systems. So identity management tools are useful to for allowing users to use only one password for all the applications. That's called single sign-on implementation. So they use SAML for that. So enterprise applications, people use many applications in enterprises. If they are setting new passwords for each and every system, it's really difficult. If one system is saying expire password in 90 days, if other system is saying expire password in 30 days, what happens? The passwords you have to remember is really difficult. That's the reason this is really famous these days to increase the productivity of the employee. So with one login, they can log into their email, they can log into their SAP system, they can log into their Salesforce system, they can log into their HR, payroll, finance, any all the applications in the system. Okay, that's the use of this. By clicking on this, you have option to configure some of the settings from the open ID, means from the single sign-on settings providers like issuer, the certificate, and entity ID, API name. All these options you have to configure based on the, and again the URLs. Okay, all these options you have to configure. And OAuth providers, yeah, like Facebook, you can also use Facebook, LinkedIn type of OAuth providers for logging into Salesforce. See, I have the OAuth providers like this: Facebook, JRN is other OAuth provider, Salesforce, OpenID for providing the open ID. Okay, Access, Microsoft Access Control Service. This is also identity management part from Microsoft. This is a product of Microsoft. LinkedIn, Twitter. So most open applications in the market are using Facebook, LinkedIn, and Twitter as their login as or sign up as, like these options, right? These are called OAuth providers. Login as options is generally provided by OAuth providers. You have to use the API of their Facebook or LinkedIn. Whenever you're logging in as Facebook, you are trying to import the data like your Facebook password, your Facebook and username, and log into your current application. And identity provider here is the identity provider will generally. So Salesforce also provides identity management where they provide username and password to authenticate something, to authenticate the users and login, show some content to them. For that, you have to configure a domain first, and later on, you have to use your Salesforce username and password to log in into the other portals also. That can be done. Okay. So if you feel this is costly, Salesforce is costly, then you can use some third-party identity managements, and you can configure in sales single sign-on settings also. Okay. Now you are using the Salesforce, the other password for logging into Salesforce. You set up audit trial. So this audit trial is really important when you want to know what's happening in your organization. So the last 20 entries of your organization is shown here, means 20 updates. So finish organization wide default update, change the default access from candidate to public. So can you see these things? This is what I have done today, 12 January 12th. This is the action which I did. Each and every action what the developers or administrators are doing in the system can be tracked easily in the system. So it's like debug logs. Debug logs is useful to debug your code. This is literally useful to know what people are doing in the system. If your application is secure, there is a lot of data. If some guy is trying to modify the metadata of your system, you can track this metadata changes. What is metadata? The configurations, the data over data. Okay, if you someone is changing the field type from number to auto number field, or string to auto number field, you can know that option, who modified that, when they have modified it, everything you can see it here. By these logs you can say, hey, this guy have done these changes, bad changes in the system. Expire all passwords, don't click on this, click on this, but there is an option that don't click on that. It expires all the passwords in the system. They have to reset again. Delegated administration is a concept where you are going to create a delegated administrator, and you assign some permissions to do that. For suppose I show some simple example called finance administration delegated administration. This is a delegated administration which I am creating for this user Chandrakant. Okay, this is the person who can do these permissions. So the requirement is the organization is too big, the company is too big, okay, and you have many people across many countries. If there is any finance issue in Hyderabad region, in some region in India, you don't need to reach, okay, in US a finance guy. So that for that I can give some person as delegated administrator for finance related objects for Indian region. That guy will be called the delegated administrator. So this guy is the super administrator, means this guy is the delegated administrator only for that part. See, now Chandrakant is the delegated administrator for I can means for assigned profiles for these profile users who belongs to India, and what all he can modify. User administration, he can modify the roles and subordinates of these people, and he can even I can even assign the number of objects what he can modify. So especially for the finance related objects, I am going to assign him so that this guy can modify a number of things on these objects only. I can add like this. I can add by selecting this. I can add some more objects also where Chandrakant now can have special permissions to do modifications only on these objects. If I am HR, if I am creating a HR delegate administration, I am going to enable HR objects again for the users, roles and subordinates of HRs or all the people under a Indian head. So this guy is going to manage all the people working under the India's head, means all the people who are working in India, he can manage that. Okay, and he can also assign by profiles also. These are the options. It's this simply this is the person who is administrating these objects, and the users who belongs to this under roles and subordinates of this finance assistant, and assign for this assign profiles. I can add one more profile so you can manage. These guys cannot modify the profile, but they can add the users, assign the users to this profile. Okay, by clicking on this, this guy has one more special access. This guy cannot access the profile data, profile security settings. They can add the users to the profiles. That permission I am giving it only to Chandrakant. Okay, this is called delegated administration. Special set of permissions only to some set of people to manage their local people data like this. Because everything I don't want to make it complex, bringing all the cases and support to the US guys, means the central support team or headquarters team. Okay, where I'm and remote site settings, I showed you whenever you're doing integrations, you have to add the endpoint URL what you are trying to integrate or some remote URL. First, suppose if I'm trying to integrate with my Google applications, api.google maps.googleapis.com is the URL for that for integrating Google APIs. I have to add this so that I can do integrations with Google APIs now. Otherwise, not. It won't allow to integrate with my system with Google Maps. For that, you have to click on Add, site name, the name what you want to give for this any sample name, the URL you should give the exact URL what you are trying to for which you to which you are trying to integrate, whether to disable the security protocol or not, and description for this requirement for this remote site settings where we are using it. Active and click on save. You can make this inactive whenever you don't want. And file upload and download security. So this option will tell you what files can be uploaded in your system in the documents folder, the formats which are supportable in Salesforce edition. Okay, and download options. Okay, This option will tell you portal health check. So you have created some means your system can have some portals, that is partner portal and customer portal. If you want to check the health of that portals, yes, you have to check this portal health check. It shows whether they are currently active, live or not. Okay. So I want to show you one thing. There's one more URL called trust.salesforce.com to tell you trust.salesforce.com is the place where you can see the all the Salesforce servers availability, their performance and everything. Okay, if they are having any issues, you check system status. You can check all this stuff, live recent update, system data, up to date, meet up to see. These are all the servers North America 0, North America 1, North America 2, North America 3 servers. You can get RSS feeds from this by clicking on this, the updates from these servers. Okay, you can track it even in your system also by using the RSS feeds. And here what says is on January 12th there is an issue for NA12, means it's not issued service level agreement, some performance degradation. What happens is there is some issue on January 12th or for this server, the performance might be little slow. Okay, like this they are saying. See, so and for this, because they, because this is a very small issue but still they are keeping with a warning. If there is some symbol like this, instance available is this, it's currently working properly. Performance issues means the performance means level of accessing the data, means the fastness, means the speed of accessing the records is becoming little slow in this. Service description means it's not working properly. If they want to put some information like, hey, next Saturday we are trying to update that type of information, you can show this iMessage there. Status not available means you don't know the status of these servers. For this you don't have status on to 10th, and on future dates you don't have status for the old dates. Oh, these are the current dates: 13th, 12th, 11th. The old dates they don't have status, they have removed that, it seems. Now you see there are 23 North America data centers and 41 also. There are totally 25 North America data centers in America. Okay, so if you go to APAC instances, Asia Pacific instances, these are three, and EMEA instances, Europe instances, there are five instances, Europe instances. If you click on sandboxes, these are sandboxes, CS1, CS81, okay, till 81. These are sandboxes instances where the enterprises are using sample sandboxes. Whenever you log into the system, you see CS1, CS2, CS3. What's my current thing? It's AP1. AP1 means APAC 1. I took my instance in APAC region. That's the reason I am getting this as APAC. But if your company is registered in USA, you are taking instance from USA, it shows that it's North America. Any 13 or any 14 like this. It depends when you took it. If you take little very means many years back, then you're gonna use any one only. Okay, because earlier they don't have data centers in APAC region and EMEA also. They are using only North American data centers. That's the reason they are very big number of data centers in North America. Portal health check is this. It shows these are many portal users. These are the current portal users and the results. How many objects are they accessing? All the information you can see it here. This is for customer and partner portal health reports. Domain management, yes, you can take your custom URLs. You can use your domain also. You can put down if your company name is EJ2Tech. You can take my domain by clicking on my domain. You can take EJ2Tech. So just clicking on this, I think I have already taken some domain. So this is pending. Test 0001 is all still pending. Um, by clicking on domains, I can check what domains I have taken. from this edition. See, that's 0001 hyphen dev hyphen dev ed dev edition. So this is the additional appended values for my domain. Okay, because this is the developer edition. And custom URLs, you can build it for your force.com sites, for public sites, where I can link this with your domain. So this is the public site. If I click on view, I can open this page in publicly and I can view it. If you are having login access page, yes, I can put on the login information. See, every custom URL. This is a custom URL. This is the customer portal. If I'm an employee, click on this login here. Now I'm going to put on the customer portal details. This is the customer login. Got it. Communication templates, you already have idea on this. Now we'll be working on translation workbench in today's class. Why we use translation workbench and when. Okay, so we use translation workbench to add localization effort to your application. So if you are a global company, then you want to show the application in all the languages. Then in this case, you're going to use the translation workbench settings where you can activate some languages. Okay, in the company profile, you also have that option for enabling languages. The languages what you have added there, you can add it here. These are the supported languages by your application. You have activated each and all this stuff, all these languages. I can click on add to add more and more languages, right? These are all the languages available still. Thai. So I can assign the users who are translators for this language. I can assign this here by moving towards right side, and these will become translators. They can upload translations to my Thai language. I'm clicking on save, or else I can also do the translations. I can assign some people to the translators also because they haven't assigned here. But for Chinese simplified, these two people are translators. For Korean, these are all translators. Okay, so if I want to disable this translation workbench, I can click on this. Currently, this is active. By default, this is disabled. And translate. If I'm clicking on translate means I want to translate now. For suppose if I want to add language for Thai, which I created just today. If you want to add the language for all the account fields, so what is the name of customers in Thai language? I don't know that. Okay, if you want to put some custom name for that, yes, I'll put see, if I want to change the custom field on the account object, translation on customer object, yes, here is the object I want to select. That is, I'm selecting it as there are many customers. Let's pick some other trainings. Okay, I'm selecting trainings here. Now it's showing the field label. If I want to change the field label of Thai language, sorry, of training object to Thai language, because at a time my application has to support all the languages, English, Russian, Chinese, and everything. Now I'm not spoiling the other languages, but I'm trying to create the language translations for Thai language translations for my application to Thai language. Okay, so for training object there are this many custom fields. These are the labels of it. I can put down the translation of in Thai language here. That is this, because I can even write the Chinese characters also, Thai characters here. um, I can put down any language here. That shows exactly how it looks like. For suppose you can use translation workbench. Translate, there's a Google Translate here. Mm, so active, okay, trainings, Chinese. Okay, I want to select the Thai language here. Select this. Where is it's here? It's the Thai language. I can copy these characters. I can put down on the translation workbench. So for suppose if there's training cost, I can put here because I took only for training, but I can go for training cost also. Okay, this is the Thai language for training cost. Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, I am just selecting here, selecting this, and I'm copying the new value, and I'm clicking on save. This is what you have to do. It shows all the fields of the training here, all the field labels. You have to select the values. For suppose training object have a field called account. Further, I have to see. I can write it here account. See, generally you don't need to create these translations. Your business is going to give this how my application should look like, and you are simply going to put down the values here directly. The values what they have shared. For active, I can come here. This is I'm doing some manually. Okay, but they're gonna provide you all these things to you on a spreadsheet or okay, that's easily to export the things. For active, this is the thing like this. Now you are translating the complete Salesforce fields, but for suppose you have given some expected participants. Okay, Salesforce cannot translate on its own this type of words. For a words like account, for a words like contact, lead, they have created the translations on their own. Okay, so you don't need to write for standard objects and stuff. Okay, it automatically translates on its own because Salesforce already created it. For custom fields and custom uh, values, labels, and everything, right, you have to create your own translations because sometimes if Salesforce is translating some value, if you don't like that value, you can do your own, you can add your own value there because there will be two different names also. Sometimes people can call in two names. The business want to only pick select second value. Then in this case, I have to copy that value and I have to paste here. For active, there are two meanings. For active, there are two values in Thailand. In Thai language, I can select only second value if the business wants that. I can copy that value so that whenever you are seeing the active field in your Thai people training page, you see that new value, second value. After that, you click on save. The changes what you have done will be saved. Okay. And if you feel that the following some of the values are outdated, just select this option and yes, you can provide the new value for that. Same way you can do lot of things here. You can translate the complete application. See here I select only custom fields, but I can select custom applications. You can even change the application name. You can change the buttons. You can change the Apex sharing reasons. For suppose you, the messages what you are showing on the triggers also you can show that. The validation error message also you can show that. See what happens, you have built some validation rules. Okay, what happens if you are trying to show some error on the page on the training object, if there is any error, because the message what you have shown is the custom message given by you in a readable format. I want to show that language in Thailand, so in Thai language for Thai people, Chinese in Chinese language for Chinese people. I can do translations even on validation error messages also. And for the custom Apex messages on the screen, you have to do your own thing. You have to do, you can implement Apex labels. See, there is a concept called labels here. When you are trying to use, see, buttons and link labels. No, there's one more. That labels you can use it for minimizing your time when you are trying to use the messages on your VF pages, because when you're hard coding the values, the error messages, it's really tough to do the translations for many languages. It's better to use the labels there. You can create the label of that message and you can translate that label for 20 languages, and it automatically picks that language according to the language of the user. Okay, the web tags, workflow task creation also. For suppose workflow task, I am asking them to create follow up demo. Okay, but I can create the similar value. I can create it in Thailand. Some I don't know the Thai language. Okay, that I can create it, and I can create the task on the name Thai language only. So people are now eligible, means people can now create data in Thai language in their database also. Database will support all the languages, that's fine. But the front end part, the top, home, tabs, the fields also will be shown in Thai language. Okay, that's a translation workbench. So by clicking on override, so if you want to override some of the translations, you can use this override option. Okay, here also you can select some of the um, everyone for Salesforce. You can write your own custom messages, because these things are all not developed by you. This is developed by some other company. Still, you can have option to modify their messages from the override screen, because you are overriding the values of these applications. And coming down to export, you are going to export what all the translations what you have made in this system, the complete labels and stuff. Okay, and import thing is for importing the values to your system. Generally, it's really tough to add translations field by field, label by label, tab by tab, app by app. Okay, but if there are many validation rules, again you have to do things manually each and every time. But the import option is useful for the people who want to import all the translations at once. Okay, there is a template for that. If you click on import, there is a template for that. You download that first. You can build translations for all the fields, for all the validation rules and everything at all. See, here is the import export tip sheet. You have the option of downloading that file also here, and you upload that file here, so that automatically all the language translations will be automatically updated with a single button import. Okay, um, yeah, that's the translation workbench. So this is a separate, means it's part of administration. And if you see that you have implemented translation workbench in your resume, you have to talk about that. Okay, yeah. And so we use translation workbench, okay, for translating the applications to different languages. I think I have shown you how it works when I'm trying to change the language. I'll show that to you. One simple option. I'm clicking on this. I'm clicking on users in the new tab. If you simply change the local name of it, complete changes the language of my application. Whichever language I select here, it shows that language. I'm selecting the Chinese language here. I'm clicking on save. What happens here? See, complete everything, every tabs, all these things automatically changed. But there are some tabs which are not changed because you have not done translations for that. Okay, but the data inside the application is showing only in English because you have entered in the English language. But if you're a Chinese company, you still can enter the data completely in the Chinese language. Okay, yeah, no problem. Yeah. So now the data in my system is complete in English, so that I cannot see the, because this is the data in the database. For example, if I'm clicking on trainings object, I don't want to go out from this tab because I can't change my language back. See, all the data is in English format, but the application is in Chinese language. I mean, sir, some Japanese, sir, I don't know what language is this. If I'm clicking on a record, see what happens. The error messages, everything will be shown on uh, if it is a standard error message, it shows in uh, Japanese or Chinese, but if you are trying to show validation error messages, it shows only in English, because I haven't done translations for validation error messages for Chinese language. So this is how it looks like. The field names are automatically shown in the Japanese language. Okay. Anyway, let's. I'm going back. The best way is going back, select, because if I'm doing some other transactions on the same tab, I can't know what button I have to click. What is the save button? What is the save a new button? That's the reason I clicked on go back, and I'm clicking on save. Now I can get back my complete things to my English language. Okay. Yeah. Now by clicking on refresh, so that my application is completely rendered in again in my default language of the user. So it's really simple to develop a localized application for different languages. Okay. Anyway, let's go back to again when you're right, and data management. So data management, we are going to work on this in tomorrow's class. Okay. We'll be importing uh, data, bulk data to our system, that is uh, a number of accounts, a number of leads. Okay. Thousands of leads, thousands of custom object records into the system. If I want to import thousands of training object records, yes, I can do it with a simple import stored in my. Yeah. So we are going to use data management for importing the data, exporting the data, managing the data. Okay, all this stuff. For suppose if you want to change, if you want to do some modifications on your metadata, what you do is, you can't do that when there is a lot of data on that object. We export all the data into the CSV format with your data loader or with your export widget. And later on, you do some field modifications on the object, and again you upload the data, the modified data, into the application. That works, right? So let's talk about the data management. I need some data sets to upload the data. I'm going to create some sample leads, sample contacts in my system from my Excel file. So Excel files means extending with .xlsx won't be supported. You need to use the .csv format. CSV format also can be openable, can be opened in Excel, Microsoft Excel, and you can use the full form of that is comma separated values, and you can use this format to import data, to export data. That opens it. Okay, that there's no issues. So most enterprise applications will use .csv format. That's the generic format supported by all the applications. Okay, so you can see the online cloud import widget also. This is the import widget where you can import accounts, contacts, leads, and even the custom objects also. Data import widget, this is a new thing. If I'm clicking on this, you can see the new, completely new screen. If you click on launch import widget, yes. So, and I have separate sections for importing contacts thing and importing uh, solutions. These are special features. You cannot do that sometimes, which manually, which takes a lot of time. But this Salesforce is simplifying developer time and developer effort by giving a lot of simple options for using import widget and stuff. For importing customers contacts, check this. Leads, check this. Selects, check this. See, later on, if for importing leads, select this. Add new records. By clicking on this, it's asking match by lead. These are all the settings I have to configure. Later on, I'm going to select CSV format or dot Outlook CSV file or Act CSV file or Gmail CSV file. See, CSVs are supported by all the systems. This option is only available for only the leads object because leads is a context. Leads are simply contacts. But when you select customers, there is only one simple CSV format. See, um, yeah, these features for standard objects you have feature. But if you pick any custom objects like automobiles or add new records, you see only CSV format. The reason why you are seeing for accounts, customers, and leads is because they have some important information, which can means like first name, last name, email, and phone number, which can be importable even from the Outlook file. Also, can be Gmail file also, Gmail file contacts file. That's the reason they have added this option only for these important objects, which are supported, which are should use it. Okay, solutions. I don't think they don't have that extension because you don't have phone number, contact, all this stuff, right? That's the reason they haven't enabled that Outlook contacts, all this stuff here. Simply CSV format is enabled here. Anyway, we are going to work on this topic in tomorrow's class. Do you guys have any issues now? If you have any questions, we can discuss in today's class. And I will work on the Canvas tool. And the people, Faiz and Asif and Venu don't have access to the tool, but I will create the access by adding your emails into the Canvas tool so that you guys can access the pages and content. I have to do a lot of the changes on the assignments due dates. I'll do that. Now today in today's class we learned about security options in Salesforce, security sharing settings, the organization wide settings, field level security, password policy, session settings, network settings, certification, adding remote site settings and stuff. And coming down to the translation workbench, you know how to translate to different languages, activate language, doing translations for different language, for labels, for tabs. Same way, select the apps. It shows all the apps in your in a list format. You add the translation value for if there is an EJ to Tech app. Add the translation value in Thailand for that particular app name. If you know translations, generally customers will be providing a spreadsheet, Excel sheet, or CSV file to add the appropriate values for English language to Thai language or any other languages. Okay, in sheets you can use that object wise. You have either will you give it, you have to use that. Later on we explore domain management. That's a simple concept for taking a domain. That's a simple 2 minutes job. Remote site settings for, I think it's a part of security settings. That's useful when you're trying to integrate some other third party applications. If you're talking on some endpoint, you have to add that endpoint here for doing integrations. Otherwise it won't allow, even though if you're doing everything perfect, if you're not adding remote site settings, it will throw some error on the page saying that you don't have access to this in some endpoint. Yeah, anyway, let's meet tomorrow class and we'll discuss about the data management. That's a big concept which takes complete class. I'm going to talk about some other tool called Apex Data Loader. You can install that tool, okay, by clicking on, see, if you click on data management, see, the last topic is data loader. If you click on this link, there is a simple downloadable file here that is for Windows. Okay, if you are using Windows system, you click on this, it will download the Windows executable file. This is called data loader, where you can use for importing data. You can connect this application with Salesforce, okay, with your username, password, security token. That is a 25-digit code. I'll show that option to you in tomorrow's class. And with this you can import the data in a bulk format. The tool which I showed you is import wizard, is only online tool, but this tool is offline tool and which connects to Salesforce and imports data to it. This is very important tool for data migrations and very small uh, data exports and stuff. Okay, Yeah, let's meet tomorrow, guys. Any questions? Before coming to tomorrow's class, try to install this application. Go to data management, click on data loader, download this file, install this. I'll show the live demo tomorrow so that you guys can also try the things from your system on the same class.